Hello, my friend. Welcome to your Reiki session. For today's video, we are going to be resetting your energy field, rebooting. So, the intention for this session is for right now, it's going to be very chill, very calm. I want you to have this sort of sense of relaxation and serenity for this session. But it's really about how you feel tomorrow. It's about how you feel for the rest of this week. It's about shifting into a new energy. And I want the new energy that you step into to be light, to be playful, to really have lots and lots of energy. So wells of energy. Doing a kind of an energetic reboot, a reset, can really help you to feel like you have so much energy to get you through the day, to take you from one thing to the next. When I started to really play around with shifting the way in which I engage throughout the day, when I really practiced seeing all of my choices through the lens of, is this going to support my energy or is this going to drain my energy? That helped me so much with maintaining an even keel throughout the day. And I even feel like there are reserves of energy that I can draw from. Now, obviously, when we look at our lives through the lens of, is this going to fill me or is this going to drain me? You know, there are some things in our lives that we can't really help, right? There are certain obligations that we have, work commitments, family things that we have that we, that aren't always necessarily going to pass through that filter of, is this going to support me or is this going to drain me? There are just sometimes things that we need to do, right? But if in the choices that we do have, we try to make those choices really supportive for us, even if the freedom of choice that we have is limited. In those limited choices that we have, trying our best to make really supportive decisions is almost more important when we have less of those choices than if we have a life where we get to kind of choose what we're doing with our time, right? Those little micro moments make such a big difference because you're going to notice that support so much more. So, we're going to be doing this as an energy healing session, right? So we're going to be healing your energy here. But on top of that, I'm just going to be sharing some things that have been really helpful for me in terms of rebooting. There are certain times in our lives that are very intense, certain times in our lives where maybe we're really busy, our schedule is very, very full, and so we're having to just do things a little bit differently. So I just want to be kind of aware of where you are. Are you in a season where you're kind of coming down from busy times? Are you amping up to busy times? Are you in the heart of like a lot of kind of, dueling energy? Are you feeling anxious? That frame as a baseline for how to reset and reboot is really helpful just to be aware of. So where are you when you're coming into this session? For me personally, I have been, put a little hand cream on. For me personally, I have been in such a kind of torrent of of energy. There's just been a lot of shifts happening, a lot of things opening up, a lot of dreams coming true, a lot of community, a lot of just wonderful things that are opening up for me. But it's been a lot, there's just been a lot on my plate. And I think as a result of that, the micro decisions that I've made, like I said, have really mattered. They've mattered a lot. So when I'm talking about this, I just want to kind of start with a little chat here with you about it, just if this is helpful or useful. I'm going to put a little bit of cream on my palms, and I'm going to put a drop of essential oil just to feel nice and supported. So I'm just putting a few drops of this tea tree oil into my palms so that we can have this kind of energy, this revitalized energy for our session. And you can already start to smell that tea tree, and you can start to work on in terms of aromatherapy, starting to sharing those benefits. But if you have a lot on your plate right now, if you are in a season where things feel like a lot, if you're feeling like you just have a lot on your shoulders, your rucksack, your backpack is feeling very full, then what I would suggest is that you take care of the basics and really put your energy into that. So instead of focusing on the nitty-gritty and all the specifics, that's a really great way to optimize our health and wellness, is to focus on the specifics. If you're in a season of overwhelm, or if you're in a season where you're like really needing this energetic reboot, reset, maybe emotionally you've had a lot on your plate, maybe you've had some relational things that are going on, romantic friendships, family, whatever it might be. If you are in a work phase of your life where you're feeling really stressed, whatever it is, if there's just been a lot on your plate in any capacity, focusing on the big stuff is where it's going to be really helpful. So when we do attunement ceremonies, I'm a Reiki Master practitioner and teacher, and when we do our attunement ceremonies, attuning my students to Reiki levels 1, 2, and 3, we talk about following the attunement ceremony. There's best practices for supporting your energy system. And those practices are about focusing on sleep, prioritizing sleep, staying nice and hydrated, making sure that you're hydrated, moving your body, making sure that you move your body every day, eating the rainbow, doing your best to eat colorful foods, lots of fruits and vegetables. If you can do those 4 things, and then the other one is journaling and really paying attention to what's going on within, what's going on for you, paying attention to that. So those are the kind of basic things that we talk about after an attunement ceremony. And it's because there's a lot happening, like bubbling to the surface, that needs to be processed at that time. But when we're talking about an overwhelm, a season of overwhelm, it's much the same. Focus on sleep. That would be my number one kind of piece of advice for you, is to just prioritize your sleep. Now, we don't have to get into, numbers, hours, because everybody's different. And sometimes anxiety about sleep and can prevent us from falling asleep. So I just want you to recognize that as long as you are prioritizing your sleep, that's the most important thing at this time. So what does that mean for you? That might mean that you limit caffeine, or, as the day gets later. So maybe you say, I limit my caffeine intake to earlier in the day, and then after a certain point, noon, 1 or 2, no more caffeine. And that way you know that coffee and things like that, they have a half-life, meaning 6 hours later, you're still going to have that caffeine in your system. So just being aware of that, being aware of how these things affect you. Again, this is all very bespoke. Energy is always very personal. So paying attention to how it affects you. But what we're talking about is priorities. Prioritizing sleep. That's the number one. That's why I try and create so many sleep healing sessions here, because it makes probably the biggest difference of anything. If you get less sleep, your body and your mind responds the same way as if you are inebriated. So you're not making clear decisions. You are not really having this clarity of mind and this sobriety of mind if you lose, if you don't sleep. There's no pressure. It's just about doing what you can, doing the best that you can in terms of your own sleep. So doing your best to prioritize your sleep. That's really the first thing. Prioritizing your sleep, prioritizing your rest, doing your best to really just set boundaries around it, particularly if you are on screens later at night. So we're reducing caffeine later in the day, reducing screen time later at night. Reading right before bed is so helpful. If you are able to, get away from screens, have a physical book that you're reading, practicing some meditation or some mindfulness. The last thing that you watch before bed, trying to have that be something really soothing and relaxing. I try to have this as something that you can use for those moments as you're gearing up to go to bed, and then taking time to just be with yourself, having something that's very relaxing and soothing. Really pay attention to the hour or two before you fall asleep. What are you ingesting? What are you consuming? What are you taking in? What is your mind kind of feasting on? And those hours, because that's what it's going to mull over. That's setting the tone for your dreamscape. So be really mindful of that. That's just something to consider for you if you are somebody who struggles with prioritizing sleep. And we're all just doing the best that we can. There's, if we have young kids, that can be hard. Sleep conditions, working late at night. These things, it's okay. It's just about trying your best to support yourself and really giving yourself those things that matter. When you get a good night's sleep, it makes a huge difference. The other aspect is staying nice and hydrated. I always have like a cup of herbal tea or some water when I'm filming, so that I can, just make sure I'm staying nice and hydrated. And I want you to do the same. Have a nice glass of tea, glass of water. Have a nice cup of tea. If you have an herbal cup of tea, something that's decaffeinated, or maybe even some lemon and ginger, fresh lemon and ginger, and some warm water, that's really nice. Although sometimes ginger can be a little bit activating, but trying to find things that are just very soothing for you. Very soothing. I love having rose, lavender, chamomile. Those are some of my favorites that I like to have when I'm trying to fall asleep. So trying to do that is really nice, but just throughout the day, staying nice and hydrated. Trying to practice healthy hydration, hygiene, like really getting a good amount of water in, herbal teas. And you can also do this in the form of really, water-filled foods like watermelon, or, lots of fruits have a high water content. So in terms of eating the rainbow, lots of fruits and vegetables. I love to eat cruciferous vegetables every single day. These are things like kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, things like that. I love to have those. I love to have flax seeds, lots of seeds and nuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. I eat every single day. Berries, I eat lots and lots of berries. Great antioxidants, they're just really fantastic. Lots and lots of vitamins and minerals in berries, and I think it's just really, really helpful to fill your body with things that are going to fuel you, and just adding those things in, just being aware. If you're thinking, oh yeah, when's the last time I had a vegetable? Just trying to add more of that in. I also like to eat based on my chakras, so if I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts, if I'm feeling like I'm not very grounded, I'll really turn to root vegetables, beets, turnips and potatoes. Things like that are very grounding. And if I'm feeling like, maybe I'm having an imbalance in the heart space, I'm feeling really judgmental or out of alignment when it comes to maybe self-love and self-care, I eat lots of, leafy greens, lots of berries, and these things can be very, very helpful just to connect you with the different properties of the chakras. So just be mindful of what you're eating, paying attention to what you're eating. I've been vegan for many years now, over a decade, I think, at this point, and it's very supportive for me. I feel that it's very connected in terms of my spiritual practice, but also in terms of my wellness practice. It just feels so, so good. I feel very, very whole and healthy when I'm, since I've been vegan. It just feels very, very supportive. So that's something. When you are mindful about your energy, one thing I noticed since this kind of crazy time, I was, doing these things with other people, and they would provide coffee, and I stopped drinking coffee regularly several years ago. But when it's there, and if I'm on vacation or whatever, I'll usually have some. And I was having some coffee, and I realized that my sleep was suffering. I got kind of very wired but tired, that feeling. Coffee now just sort of makes me feel tired. I yawn a lot more. And so since I stopped doing that, I did it for a couple of days here and there, just drink coffee. And I stopped doing that again, and already I feel so much better. I think it's just one of those things where just being aware of our relationship to these things, particularly substances that are stimulants, and just being really mindful about that can be helpful in these times. So the other aspect here is movement, daily movement. You can start with a daily step count. That can be helpful, or you can simply invite it in as part of a ritual. So maybe every time you eat, you go for a short walk. If you have a pet, you could go for a walk with your pet 3 or 4 times a day, or a long walk in the morning and a long walk in the evening. If you have kids, then what you could practice is just moving with them more, going out, trying to get out in fresh air with them is really helpful. So these are things that you can do to really support you for this energetic reboot and reset, is to really support yourself. And through all of this, it's all about how can I support myself and nurture myself and show up for myself in the way that I need to. What do I need right now? Where am I feeling out of balance? If you can start to key into that, oh my gosh, things will open up for you in such a beautiful way. So let's start to energetically refresh you. Now that we've sort of come through your energy with this tea tree, we're going to play around with some tools so that you can get nice and, you can get this nice shift, reset, and tomorrow you'll wake up feeling fabulous. I'm going to start with this cluster. This is a clear quartz cluster. And I'm going to start by just moving this through your energy body. Moving this through. Clear quartz is programmable, so you can program it to whatever you'd like. And so what we're going to program this energy to here is we're going to, on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered, most aligned self, in loving comfort and in perfect balance, I wish to program this clear quartz crystal to reset, refresh, and reboot your energy, to help you access wells of energy, of good vibrations, to help you feel energized, to help you feel fresh, to really kind of cleanse and clear out any stagnant energy so that you can fill it up with really positive, beautiful energy. So we're calling in freshness, we're calling in new vibrations. When we are open to a new energy, it's incredible how our mindset can really shift. When we are trying to maybe implement a new habit or routine, but everything else about our lives is the same, there can be a lot of friction. Whereas if you have other changes in your life, other fresh energy in your life, it's so much more supportive of that shift that you want to make. You can notice this when you go on vacation and you're able to maybe walk a lot more and really have that in, taking time for that in the mornings and in the evenings. And then when you get home, and maybe when you're on vacation, you're eating around the table, you're really taking time and being present with your loved ones. And then when you get home, you kind of go back to the normal at the end of the day. Instead of preparing dinner and sitting at the table, you just eat in front of the TV. You're not really paying attention to your loved ones, and your relationship starts to fragment a little bit. It's because there were so many things that were unfamiliar that you weren't being dragged back into those past, behaviors. So it can just be helpful to shift if you have other energies that are supporting that. So doing things consecutively is really helpful. For example, doing a big refresh of your house, like if you're going to do a spring cleaning or something like that, for example, that can be a great time to start to implement new habits, because a lot of your old habits have been sort of cleansed. You're, putting things in new places, things are clean. So if you wanted to start maybe cleaning routine at that time, the energy is more supportive of that because you don't have all of the other reminders and kind of cues to set you back into those past behaviors. So it can just be helpful. So what would you want to shift? Is there one thing in particular that you think, oh yeah, if I could just shift this or adopt a new behavior here, that would feel really supportive? What might that be for you? You can feel free to share that in the comments down below. But whatever it is for you, if you are feeling like you really want this new energy, think about what you want it for. Do you want to be able to, like I said, play with your kids, have really deep, meaningful conversations with the people that you love, maybe with your partner, with your spouse, with your good friends? Do you want to really be healthier and take care of that vital life force energy that we're channeling here with Reiki? That vital life force energy that gives us, that's where those wells of the eternal kind of reservoirs of energy come from, is our vital life force energy. Ki in Japanese. It's also chi in Chinese, or prana, or you can call it all kinds of things, but it's that energy from source that allows us to flow. And when we are in that movement space and that flow, that's ultimate health, wellness, connection, wholeness. So it's really about how you can live in the expression of that health and connect with that for you. Helping you to reset on an energetic level so that you start to feel that your energy has a different quality to it. It's not so stagnant. It's not so rigid. It's more fluid, open. What do you need to let go of? What do you need to release? I'm going to take this tourmaline and I'll put this right here. And so you can now send any of that energy into the tourmaline that you don't want, and anything that we notice that we don't want, we're just sending into that tourmaline. And now your energy field is becoming cleansed, purified, healthy, beautiful. breathe. Just blow your breathing. Let it all go. Whatever's not serving, let it release. Wash off. Let it go. Good. Okay. I'm going to shake up your energy with this owl rattle. I want you to feel supported and held. I really want you to make sure that you can trust in yourself. Trust yourself to take care of you, show up for you. Start in little ways, showing up for yourself, caring for yourself. It's the most supportive thing that you can do for your energy, is to take care of yourself. Pay attention to what you need. Connect with what you need. If you don't know, then how are you ever going to fulfill it? We need things as humans. We need things, so really make sure that you know what that is so that you can give that to yourself. It can be, food, shelter, water, sleep, but also, need a moment to recuperate. You need some alone time. You need connection. You need laughter. You need, whatever it is. And as long as we have a healthy balance of these wants, we just really, very, very often we neglect so much of that. And then we can be very, very pokey, our energy can get very astringent, that's the word I'm thinking of, because we're holding on to so much resentment, because we do need things, and we do want things, and if we grew up in a society or in a family unit that told us that our wants are really inconvenient, then we all get our wants somehow, and very often we were taught to get them in an indirect way, whether that's being passive aggressive or resentful. So choose guilt over resentment. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to what you need. And if people make you feel guilty about that, if that means that you say no and you have boundaries, if that means that you are prioritizing your own wellness, then choosing that over resentment, over doing everything for everybody and running yourself dry, and then really not having anything in your cup to give to anybody else, means that you're going to show up for people, but you'll probably not have the best energy. So try your best to choose guilt over resentment. It's very countercultural, but really try it. It helps so much. So I'm going to use this owl rattle to connect with the wisdom of the owl and to shake up your energy so you feel supported and healthy. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative. You are safe. Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel ready to tackle the day? Or do you want to rest now and then you'll wake up and have all of this fresh new energy tomorrow? Let me know down below. I'm sending you so much love and support. I'm so grateful for you. Take really good care of yourself, okay? Take really good care of each other. Until we meet again. Be so well. Hello, my lovely, lovely patrons. So sending that love towards you, and see if you can just maybe breathe it in. Fill yourself up with that gorgeous, loving energy. Imagine the aroma just swirling in and flowing all through your body. Which can be directed and channeled with laser precision to help you accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. Cool. This is going to be a really powerful time for you. 2 super empowering cards. You have this fiery energy, and you have like the earth and the roots. The roots and the ancestors. It's like stone and earth and fire. Find as comfortable position as you can. You can close your eyes, you can lie down, whatever feels right for you. And let's begin today with gratitude. Whatever position you find yourself in, bring to heart one thing for which you are